Hi, this is Aisha and welcome to another video of Read a Day Club. Today I will be talking about The Lonely City by Olivia Laing. Now, The Lonely City can be read as a memoir or a collection of essays or even a non-fiction art and historical book of confessions. There's already enough information about the book out there in terms of its summary, what it highlights, who it represents. The title of the book speaks for itself, and it speaks volumes. In fact, The Lonely City: Adventures in the Art of Being Alone. So what does it mean? It means to find your solitude in a large crowd. It means to find your loneliness of being in and around the otherness of other people. In the first chapter itself, Olivia wants you to imagine that you're standing by a window at night. All you can see is the city revealing itself in the form of 100,000 windows. Some of them are darkened while others are lit up in shades of green, blue, yellow and white. What you see are strangers through these tiny boxes, strangers living their private lives, undeterred by you or by the rest of the world. And you're just an observer of all this. You can't reach them, nor can they reach you. Now, Olivia calls this phenomena an uneasy combination of separation and exposure. The kind of loneliness you feel, not because you're living in some far-off place with not a single soul in sight, but the kind of loneliness you feel surrounded by millions of people in a city. The book is a collection of essays, and each essay is a window into the life of a musician, a writer, a filmmaker, and many such creative people living in New York during the 60s and 70s. This makes the writing engaging and informative, but not in an academic or journalistic manner. The format is very organic and intuitive to follow. It's as if you're having a philosophical conversation with someone. Even though the main theme of the book is understanding loneliness, these essays also highlight the roots of what it means to be and feel human. Olivia investigates, using art, city life and technology, the link between loneliness and artistic creation, and how loneliness manifests in many ways, how it can alter your experience, how you perceive art, how you interact with others, the essence of which is very difficult to categorize as either being good or bad, simple or complex, productive or unproductive. So it's a very sensitive and attentive kind of loneliness. Now, I can simply tell you that if you do not enjoy reading essays, you shouldn't read this book, or that if you have read essays before, you should definitely pick this book up, because I feel that when it comes to reading any kind of literature, there's always a first time. You never know what you might discover even in a book that you thought would have been seemingly boring or dull. The Lonely City was one of my first non-fiction books, and I read this some 5 to 6 years ago, and still I'm reminded of the bold and beautiful wisdom in this book. I started reading it at a time when I was yet to answer some of the questions I had about my own personal journey and my own loneliness. And after multiple rereads, I am still not disappointed by how wise and moving and thought-provoking her words are. There were things that burnt away at me, not only as a private individual, but also as a citizen of our century, our pixelated age. What does it mean to be lonely? How do we live if we are not intimately engaged with another human being? How do we connect with other people, particularly if we don't find speaking easy? Is sex a cure for loneliness? And if it is, what happens if our body or sexuality is considered damaged? If we are ill or unblessed with beauty? And what is technology helping with these things? Does it draw us closer together or trap us behind screens? As you can see, there's so much to be gained from this book with regards to wisdom, spirituality, philosophy. Olivia clarifies the essence of life, the essence that has been injured, terribly injured over the years. If loneliness is to be defined as a desire for intimacy, then included within that is the need to express oneself and to be heard, to share thoughts, experiences and feelings. Intimacy can't exist if the participants aren't willing to make themselves known, to be revealed. But gauging the levels is tricky. Either you don't communicate enough and remain concealed from other people, or you risk rejection by exposing too much altogether. The minor and major hurts, the tedious obsessions, the abscesses and the cataracts of need and shame and longing. It's true that cities can be lonely places, but I've often wondered why that is. Why someone can feel so alienated and absent even though surrounded by millions of people? Perhaps the answer to that question is in this book, and through every answer you will find and discover parts of yourself that were hidden before, and that is why I strongly suggest that you read The Lonely City. Olivia not only writes about her personal journey and loneliness, but that of other people, filmmakers, writers, musicians, artists. So the book draws from many wells. It touches upon many topics such as parenting, childhood abuse, discrimination, sexuality, depression. This is the only book of Olivia's that I have read, the other one being To the River, which is about the river where Virginia Woolf drowned herself. Just as how I cannot tell anyone else what their personal journey and loneliness and despair mean to them, much in the same manner, it's very difficult for me to judge this book for every reader that's out there. I feel The Lonely City is one of the books that you read and explore and unfold for yourself, and whether you like it or you do not like it is a very subjective experience. And it's because the reason being that each one of us possesses a very different and unique faculty of loneliness, the kind that even though it may seem familiar to somebody else, it's not the reflection of it. And the meaning of such despair and loneliness is best understood and recognized when you read the journey of someone else. And this is what makes The Lonely City so poetic and so liberating. It explains the meaning of solitude for everybody who's out there, and how the search for meaning and purpose in one's life is based on personal experiences rather than fact. On that note, I hope that you'll gain value of some kind when you read this book, how it explores the many dimensions of feeling lonely and questions the fundamental truth of life and art, and the effect it has on how you are as a person. This is Aisha from Read a Day Club, and I hope you enjoyed my review of The Lonely City. If you'd like to share your thoughts on the book or on my review, please do leave a comment below.